The trick here is to be more proactive than reactive. But then the question is, how do you become more proactive? And that's what we're going to explore. So how do you be proactive in life? As I mentioned, the secret is being proactive versus reactive. Reactive means that the situation happens and you react to it versus thinking ahead and preparing for a good or a bad situation. So what are we trying to avoid here? What's that word that people use to describe people who are not proactive and don't get things done? If you know, put it in the comments below and I'll share my thoughts in a moment. It's quite possible you know somebody like this too. I have a friend who every time something happens, their response is, whose fault is it? It's somebody's fault. We have to find out whose fault. That's where they put all of their energy. Whose fault is it? Quite honestly, who cares? A proactive person may want to know whose fault it is so they can ask questions and figure out how they can fix the situation, but the main focus is on fixing the situation. So maybe it doesn't happen again, or maybe there's a better approach. A proactive person is immediately on the job to fix the situation rather than assigning blame. One thing we know about proactive people is that they set goals. And not only that, they understand the secret to success for setting goals and being proactive. And it's quite simply taking action. Now, if you're interested in goals, I have additional videos. Definitely check them out. But being an active goal setter can really help you move forward as a proactive person. All right, simply that word, it's procrastination. Again, along the same lines of setting goals is understanding the future and deconstructing, understanding what it takes to get you where you want to go and then take action to get you there. Now, there are different ways you can go through life and even business as a creative entrepreneur. You can get out there and pound on doors, or you can wait for the opportunities to come by and then pounce on them. And quite honestly, both ways are okay. It just depends on what you want to do and how fast you want to get there. The proactive person tends to get there a lot faster. I have a friend who was early in her career, really wanted to work with the top people in her field. And immediately after she got out of school, she started knocking on doors and talking to the biggest people in the field and letting them know her intentions. And over time, she started to understand what it took to be where she wanted to be. She was proactive. And amazingly, opportunities started to come around. Not overnight, but they certainly came around a lot faster than how other people were getting the opportunity. Some people took years and years to get there, where she just took a year or two to actually get to where she wanted to be as a professional. Proactive people, they take responsibility. Remember my friend who is always looking for who's at fault? Well, that included himself too, meaning if it was his fault, he was still out there looking to find the person to blame. Who is it that we can blame, although everyone knew whose fault it really was? That's not a proactive person. A proactive person understands, hey, they have faults and that they're going to make mistakes. And if they can make adjustments to prevent that mistake in the future, they'll take action. I have many faults, and believe me, many of you out there have let me know all the faults you think I have. That's true of anybody who's active online. There are people that are more than happy to tell you what's wrong with you, but that's okay. I actually listen because I embrace the things that I can change, but I let go of the ones I can't. There are certain things I can't change about me. There's certain things you can't change about you. So you have to be okay with it and just step forward and keep moving forward. This next topic is really important for big thinking creative entrepreneurs. And many of us are big thinking creatives. And we're entrepreneurs and we're always coming up with new ideas and we think big, but the details, not so important all the time. And that's why it's important to recognize the value of the people around you and the people you surround yourself with. Be proactive in finding good people to support you. Not everyone is a big thinker. And just because they're not a big thinker doesn't mean that they're not valuable. They're extremely valuable people. There are many people who have specialties that are really good and detail-oriented that can support you and help you get to where you want to go. But you need to recognize that and be active in finding those right people and looking for talent that you can surround yourself with. You often hear me talk about the combination code 7531. The 5 has to do with people. And those people that we're just talking about could be part of that 5. They don't necessarily have to work for you. They can work as partners. They can also just be people that you consult with, people you have around you. 5 people that you can also support them. It's a give and take situation. It's a support network. And those 5 people are really important. And you need to look closely at how that relationship can develop over time before you just accept anyone. We know that successful, proactive people prioritize. They understand what they should be doing and they're active regularly doing the things they need to get done. And that brings us back to that other conversation, finding the right support people. Because in that priority list, there are things you probably really shouldn't be spending a lot of time doing. And as soon as you can, you should find other people to do those tasks so you can do the things that are high on the priority list that get you closer to your goals and make sure that your company and your creativity is growing. Let's be honest, there are many times we just don't feel like doing the things we need to do. And Stephen Pressfield calls that resistance. I often talk about his book, The War of Art, and it's very true. You need to break through that resistance. You need to take those steps and take action anyway, even when you don't want to. That's the difference between the successful creative entrepreneur and the unsuccessful creative entrepreneur. The successful creative entrepreneur takes that action anyway. Many of us are perfectionists. We don't want to ship anything out the door unless we know it's perfect. However, if you want to be successful and do what you love for a living, you have to get it out the door. You need to ship it. You need to hand it off to the client. You need to say, I'm done, even if it's not 100%, because chances are you're at the point of diminishing returns, meaning you can work harder and more on your project, but it's not going to get you anymore, and the people who receive the project probably won't even like it that much more based on the amount of effort you want to put in it. So understand, perfection is not going to get you where you need to go. You need to learn how to let it go. Being a creative entrepreneur, it's a lot of work, but fortunately, we can enjoy the little successes along the way. We have big goals, but the little successes, the little activities and actions that bring new opportunity are the things that will ultimately make our life worth it, our creative careers worth it. Yes, big goals are exciting, but when we can break things down and be proactive ahead of time and do the things we need to do to get there, we can actually celebrate along the way. We don't have to wait until we have that big goal to celebrate. That's exciting, but there are many other experiences and opportunities and honestly, smaller goals that are worthy of celebrating. So pay attention to the little milestones and give yourself a pat on the back because you deserve it. You're moving forward. You're being proactive. I'll see you in the next video.